Hello, this is another installment of Glenn's radio restorations. This is a Westinghouse Model 684A made in 1941. And what drew me to it was the fact that it looked like it had been well cared for, judging by the mainly by the cloth on the radio, and the fact that there weren't any real big issues with the cabinet as far as pieces of veneer missing and that type of thing. So again, this is what it looked like when I picked it up. Had some spots here, and again, like I was saying, it's not too bad. A couple little dings here as well, and small issue at one of the corners. But here's the back of the radio, and on this radio it's got this little sticker on the back here that's a warning that says you must have a radio license in order to operate this radio. So here I am starting to strip the cabinet down to refinish it, and here's the finished product. So it's got a little bit of toner on the corners and across the bottom, but the rest of it's just straight up satin lacquer. And here it is with the new printing for the push buttons on the front. I just make them up with my printer, and basically they're just covered in a clear tape. And also had good luck reproducing the labels for the bottom of the radio here, so they look nice and fresh as well. Really nice veneers on these old radios. That's what draws my eye to all of them, is just the workmanship that was involved in the craftsmanship that was involved in building these radios. Really like the wedge design of this one. It's a little unique. So here's the underside of it, and I don't think this radio had ever been touched as far as any kind of real maintenance goes on it. And if it had been, it was pretty minor, because all the original caps seem to be here. And there's a schematic of the radio, and this is what you'll find glued to the bottom of the metal chassis. So once I had it recapped, I thought, okay, I'm going to light this up, and away we'll go. Well, that wasn't to be. It started making puffs of smoke, which is never a good thing. So after investigating, I found it was the switch that you flip between the radio and the auxiliary port, I call them on these radios, but basically was a phono port back in the time that this radio was built. And this was arcing because of all this corrosion on here. It was arcing between this point and one of these tabs that holds the switch together, and making a few sparks, and sending up a smoke signal that it needed help. And here's a collection of all the parts that I pulled from the radio. And this is the finished product. I put a bucking transformer on this radio because even after recapping and making sure the tubes were good, this thing still ran a little bit above what the rated wattage of the transformer is, the power transformer. So the bucking transformer just drops the AC line voltage just enough so that it brings the radio within spec. So what I prefer to use in cases like this is the Hammond 166 N6, and luckily there was lots of room under the chassis for it, so it really doesn't take away from the look of the radio once it's all put back together. There's the final picture of the installation of that transformer and the rest of the recap. So this is the radio. Nice look to it. Again, you can see the cloth on here. Looks pretty fresh for a radio of that vintage. I'll play it for you here. So yeah, it plays very nicely. It's early in the morning yet, so pick up a few AM stations out here. Excuse my finger.
And you're not a prohibited person, you're a felon or something like that. And now, all the way to the...
And the radio also has a the ability, since it's got this RCA slash phono jack on the back. I've got a Bluetooth device here, and I've pulled the back off the radio so that we can see inside it. So I'll walk you around to the other side of the radio so you can see inside. And there's the plate for it. There's a switch for that auxiliary jack, I call it, or phono port. That when you flip over, it takes it to the Bluetooth device. Let's see, I'm just playing it from the computer over to the Bluetooth. And it can be controlled, the tone and the volume from here. So anyway, that is my latest restoration project, the 1941 Westinghouse Model 684A.